Hello and welcome to another Blender tutorial. Today I'll just show you the basics of using the camera and adjusting them. When you open up Blender, you'll see the default scene right here. There'll be a camera added light in the default cube. We can access the camera or the active view by hitting numpad 0. This will bring us to what the active camera sees. We can further manipulate the way it moves. I'm using legacy controls, so Blender 2.79. For me, the controls to fly navigate or walk navigate is Shift F, and I can move around as if it's a first-person shooter or just a first-person game. Call it shooter because the crosshair is here. If that hotkey isn't working, you'll be using the new controls. You can still access that going to View, and it'll be in Viewport. Where is it here? Sometimes it's, oh, here we go. View navigation, walk navigation, and you can move around this way. Now, if you like the view that you have, you just left mouse click and it accepts that. But let's say you move somewhere here, you don't like it, you right mouse click and it snaps back to this view. Hit numpad 0. Actually, I'll just go back to screencast keys and turn it on, so that you should be able to see what's happening here. So you can see numpad 0 tabs in and out of active view. Alright. To add a camera, you can do Shift A, camera, and camera. Now what's happened is it's placed the camera at the 3D origin point. We can access that. Let's see up here, camera.001. It has to be selected. We can switch active viewport by holding Control, numpad 0. And now this is active. To manipulate this, we do the same thing with View and Navigation, Walk Navigation. We can move backwards. To go faster, we can hold Shift D. Once we find a view that we like, we can access the camera settings and the camera tab right here. It has to be activated or selected. We can also switch camera views by clicking on the camera up here. You can see it's selected in the viewport here. Control numpad 0. And this brings us to this other active camera view. Go back to the other one, Control numpad 0. As you can see here, there's a variety of settings. Focal length is in millimeters, but we can also do field of view. It just depends on what you're familiar with. I like using real-world camera examples, so 50 is like a point and shoot. We can go more narrow lens, which is 35mm, or we can do something like a telephoto lens, 100, which means there'll be less distortion. To show you what I mean by less distortion, let's do something really small, like 10. You can see how far it is, and if we get closer, the vanishing point is extremely stylized. And you can see that when we move up and down, it stretches it a lot. Go back up, go back down, move it around. Go back up. There's also another setting here called orthographic. What this does is it's almost like an it is an isometric view where there are no vanishing points. We can rotate it around. It's a bit harder, as you can see it's going down this way. So we can use the transformation tools in conjunction with the navigation view. What I mean by that is if we do the whole view, navigation, and walk navigation, we can look up. Then we can hit G to move, Z to lock onto the Z axis, and move down. As you can see, it's a nice orthographic view, stylized for anything that requires it, blueprints or CRPGs, anything you can think of. Scale here, orthographic scale, you can zoom in and out. Let's go back to perspective view. You'll notice it's like Shift X and Shift Y. This shifts it, but it doesn't actually change the position. This is in case you want to do like a true 2-point perspective. So let's say, there's something up here I want to look at. Just for an example, I'll move something up here. Let's say if you want this square down here if we actually move this, you can see it's changing the actual perspective and the vanishing points. We'll just have to shift the Y down this way. And the X, we can rotate it this way. This is just a primer on how to use the lens. Alright, hopefully you learned something. Thank you.